Honestly, I definitely wanted to get some takes on SocialFi. It's blown up way harder than I ever thought it would. I
Crazy.
mean, like thinking back like 8, 9 months ago, Friend.Tech was just coming out. It was like, oh, this is cool, probably going to be an airdrop, but never thought it would kind of sustain through multiple months. And then, now we've got Fantasy Top all over the timeline. We're talking about your guys' DMs and replies just full of people. Save me, Farokh. Save me, ThreadGuy. Save me, intern. Where is this going?
TG's the one hosting like town halls about SocialFi all day long.
Yeah, bro. It's literally like TG. We need your take in a second, but I feel like it is that Black Mirror episode we said before the recording started, where we're all just on our bikes pedaling, like trying to tweet as much as we can, but like TG kind of ascended that and like has some deal where like we're actually just pedaling, and he's the one. He gets like 30% on each revolution.
Pedaling to like power my lights. I
Yeah.
we were talking about this earlier too. Like honestly, the biggest SocialFi app is Pump.Fun.
Yeah.
I just did more revenue than Solana. Like I hadn't been super deep in the Pump.Fun trenches in the last like 3 days. I immersed myself, and it's pretty unreal. But I don't know. I'm a giga SocialFi bull, and I think the coolest part about it is it gives us something engaging to do when there's just Twitter. Like when the markets aren't marketing and there's really nothing happening price action wise, all we have is just confined to Twitter. And like I made this tweet the other day and I said Fantasy Top is a Twitter L2. Like it builds this speculation, tokenization, monetization layer like on top of the only thing that there is to do when you're not trading meme coins. So I think it's funny, like if you look at Friend.Tech, I was looking at this the other day. Friend.Tech launched, I want to say like August 1st or the first week of August in 2023, and Bitcoin was like 18-20K. Like there was nothing happening at all. Like the markets were beyond dead, beyond bearish. Nobody was here. Friend.Tech gave this like engaging thing for people to participate in, and then Fantasy Top, obviously a different time in the market, but a couple weeks ago where the whole timeline is bear posting. The shitcoin short-term mania is like over. There's like nothing engaging happening, and then Fantasy Top just like drops this engaging ecosystem where you can go pretty deep, and I feel like it's inspired like the heroes to post. Like we were talking
Does
about
he rock
this
for you
before.
guys?
Like intern has like hundreds of DMs and messages like, "Yo, tweet more, tweet more, tweet more," and it's jokes and it's a meme, but like this fantasy shit is serious at the same time. So it's like we're memeing about it, but I would imagine you, jokes or not, you feel at least a little bit more pressure to be active, to be on the timeline, and it's like it's basically encouraging discourse on Twitter. So I think the SocialFi thing is fascinating, and I think Fantasy Top building on top of Twitter instead of being Friend.Tech and like gating a different ecosystem or being Stars Arena and competing with the Twitter feed is quite literally goated.
Yeah, dude, that's like the hardest thing for me with Warpcast, right? Which like I love going on Farcaster, dude, awesome app. It's not like a habit. Like Twitter is a habit, right? I check it often, like constantly throughout the day. Whereas I find myself I need to like force myself to go into a different app. So yeah, Fantasy Top, like building straight on top of Twitter, so you're just doing the same stuff. Awesome idea. The other side of it too is like I wasn't in the first wave of heroes, so maybe ThreadGuy and Farokh, you guys can run through this, but they basically there was this thing where it's like, accounts that were big in 2021 have very large follower accounts, but there's less like new active people. Like you look at someone like Blockraise, he's got like 45K followers, but he gets like Ansem level engagements. It's crazy. And so they nerfed it, right? And they changed it the next week. So people still have some, issues with what the incentives look like right now. You basically just have to tweet constantly throughout the day if you want to do well. But like they'll just tweak it until they get the incentives right. And like like I said, ThreadGuy, I was talking to you the other day. I hung out with Travis last weekend. Super smart guy.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna get the formula right. It just takes like you got to try a shot on net. see what happens, what worked, what didn't, and then just change the incentives over time. But the idea itself is so strong.
I mean, it's
think
just
to
the
the
financialization of social platforms. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry, I'm delayed. Go ahead.
I think there's a lag, right? Is there a lag?
Yeah, everything records locally, so
Oh,
it won't
okay.
freeze in the
Okay,
like
yeah.
post production, but like for the sake of recording it, can sometimes go in and out.
Okay, my bad. Go ahead, TG.
No, go ahead. Make your point.
Fuck, now I lost it. But something along the lines of like, like everyone, I think there was a point in time where like, I was writing about this not long ago. I was talking about like now like creators and users have access to financialization of social media, whereas before we didn't, right? Like it was always like Instagram, Meta, making all the money from creators like myself and others on the platform, or the consumers. Like on X, until most recently, it was the same thing, which actually kind of still is. Like you don't really make much money using the platform unless you like Ansem level tweeting, right? They just talked about it. But now, like, we're building tools on top of it where, like, everyone from ThreadGuy and I, like, we're creating content at, like, an absurd volume, and we put an absurd amount of time and effort behind it. We can get something out of it. And sometimes it's life-changing for people. Like, the first payout, Fantasy Top, was pretty wild. Like, we each made, 3-4 ETH? Which is a lot when you think about it for being a hero.
If it ever comes.
If we that's true for now. But Friend.Tech, like there was this aspect where creators got more out of it right off the bat than the user. But the users still could. Like you could be like someone like cooking, like being early and like buying Friend.Tech people and trading them up. Right? There's a lot of people that started Fantasy Top with like under 0.1 ETH, right? And that's Travis's goal. So I think that's what it adds. It adds this level of like just like equality almost, right? Where like people can actually get something from using platforms and interacting with their favorite creators, right? Like you can get something from being earlier ThreadGuy by buying his card or like buying his key early on without needing to be ThreadGuy, right? So it just evens out the playing field a little bit between the platform and the users. That's why SocialFi is fun. That's why I like the conversation about Pumped.Fun and Solana, because like what's SocialFi and Solana? I remember Mert was like, yo, why has no one built SocialFi and Solana? Because Solana is like the chain that makes the most sense. Facts. And Base Carbon was like, and another two is like, well, there is SocialFi and Solana. It's called Pump.Fun, which I love the debate today that TJ was having, because it is like meme coins in a way could be SocialFi, because like you need that social media component to it, and anyone can make money. Like we love when a celebrity or someone bigger and bigger and bigger talks about the meme coin that creates a network effect, and you have like all these like reply guys and girls like in big creators' DMs and comments. Like this is all like a big SocialFi. NFTs. Like NFTs were first iteration of that. Like last cycle was pretty wild. Like from a social component. Like NFTs, why do you buy an NFT for the most time? It's for the club. Like BYC was that, and he kept getting rewarded for being that club. So it's like, and that grew. Like D-Gods right now is a club. Like you know what I mean. So that's like you sold NFTs in order for people to be able to join clubs on social media. Some people built on top of that, some didn't. But early adopters were rewarded, right? So it's just like, I think we're overthinking it. I think this is all it is.
You know what I think, like, and this might get too high level, but like in the abstract, right, there's just a lot of social connection that wants to happen on the internet. And like over the last, since Facebook was invented, so call it 2 decades, like it's just continuously iterated to get people closer to like what they want their end state to be. And like crypto and social, the overlap is obviously some financial component, right? Like NFTs were that. They were the first thing that allowed people to create clubs, express like what they're interested in or who their friends are, what they're excited about. And like it was a very, like in an ideal world, it's not the most direct way to do it. Like it was very just kind of, hey, here's a picture and you can buy and sell it, right? And people would buy and sell them. That's great. It creates a market. But like over time, it's going to get more nuanced. There's going to be like new levels introduced to that spectrum of like, either what account you're betting on or what like trend you think will pick up. Like it's basically just a new way to express opinions while also connecting with people. Like I don't think anyone thinks the internet's going to get less pervasive, right? If you guys saw that ChatGPT 4 thing, like,
bro,
yeah,
it's basically wild. Like wild, dude. Like they like. I don't know.
I feel like the current state of SocialFi is almost like these mini game experiences that are the prequel to the full experience. I like very much so on a high level have been quite bullish on SocialFi for a long time. Well, relatively speaking, long time, like a couple years. But I think like when you look again, like Kevin was saying, at the iterations of internet applications that actually do a great job of capturing attention, like you need to introduce a new mechanic that nobody's ever done before in like a certain packaging. So like Instagram comes out and it's a way to share your photos, but nobody had ever like kind of cracked the photo sharing game and like the way that got the social flywheel spinning and the way that Instagram did. So I like almost feel like these SocialFi experiences are almost like these mini games that are very engaging, but it's ultimately a prequel to what we're going to see with a real, like, genuine social super app coming on the scene and changing up the entire dynamics of how social media works, what the relationship for creator and consumer is. And I mean, I'm just like so excited and hopeful that we get to the stage where, you know, like there is like an actual platform that everyone's joining, not just crypto natives. And there's like some of these dynamics that we're seeing from these early applications.
Well, the thing that's tough about the SocialFi too, and Kev, I don't know if you have any thoughts on this, but it's like, I feel like the narrative where we agree like SocialFi is going to be a leader here, but there's like nothing to buy. Like, what do you buy if you want to come in with size on SocialFi? Like, am I going to just buy like intern legendary cards on Fantasy Top? Like, maybe, but like what? There's not like whiff play or like a Pepe where you can go in with like size and feel like you have an index of the whole sector. Like, I think that's because it does feel like it's little mini games and these like walled off experiences. There's like DGen on Farcaster and there's Friend.Tech and there's Stars Arena over here, like these gated experiences. But it's hard to confidently come in to something with liquidity and size and make like a comfortable, confident long-term bet.
Yeah, so I think it hits on a little bit of what I was just talking about, where like it will get more accurate. Like you'll be able to express your views more accurately over time. Like you need the cards because that's how the tournament works right now. Like that's kind of the gameplay. Yeah. But you could see a world where it's like, no, you don't need to own a card. Like you don't have to buy an entire NFT, right? You can express like, oh, I like $50 worth of this bet, right? It's almost like when you're first coming in, you're like, damn, Bitcoin's expensive. Like I can't afford a Bitcoin. It's like, yo, you can buy half a Bitcoin. Like you can buy however much you want of a Bitcoin. So I think you do, like it gets more granular because it is a bit clunky right now, right? Like I think Got, for example, or actually I don't actually think that's how you pronounce it, but he was telling me like, yeah, there's only like 32 of his cards. Like that was just however many were minted. So I couldn't bet on him because I would literally have to like sell my car to go and buy his Fantasy Top card. Like I would have loved to just been able to be like, all right, I'm going to put $200 on him because he gets like 2 Elon replies a day.
Do you even have a car?
Too, the supply, like on Fantasy Top specifically, you like get the best heroes get punished for like being good at the game because the better you are, the rarer your card, the less volume there is, the less fees you rack up. Like that has to get solved as well. Like the balance is definitely not there on Fantasy specifically.
Yeah, don't close that gap. I think what's good with good founders in SocialFi, you have to adapt anyways. Like, what's SocialFi? Like, it's just social media. Like, social media changes every day because the algorithm changes every day. We still haven't figured it out. People don't want to leave platforms, but also those platforms are not getting better, which is where we're like having issues. Like, X is not getting any better. X is like, there's nothing that's gone better on X in the last month. Like, there's not one single thing they fixed. Not even the DM function. But we're still like using it, and we need to, right? There's no other choice. But it's like Farcaster. Warpcast is fire. But like, as much as I love it, like I'm a huge fan, massive bull. DWR big fan. DWR so big fan. Love Dan Romero, what they're doing. But fuck, like, do I have trouble like getting on Farcaster and using the platform? And even an insane amount of degen that totally missed could not even get me on there as much as I wish. Like, I want to, right? But it's like at some point you get so busy, right? So it's pretty wild. Like even like TG was screaming about degenerate spaces every day, but I bet you like 80% of the space is still not getting on.
Yeah, but
So
bro, even I haven't been on in like 10 days. Like it's
right.
tough.
That's
This
just
is
a lot.
This is why Fantasy Top and honestly Pump.Fun game changer, because it's
Yeah.
like we've accepted Twitter as like the town hall social
Yeah.
network. We layer on top of it because the problem with Farcaster is just like to be in the trenches of Twitter. It's a full-time job. Farcaster has equally engaging and time-consuming equivalent over there. A second full-time job. Like I'm not working. It's you can't be all in on both. So it like really segments your time. But I think that's the reason why I've been bull posting Fantasy Top so much, is not so much that ecosystem specifically, but like the concept and the primitive that it brings to discussion.
Yeah, just meet the people where they are. Like I don't want to be met somewhere else. Like like remember all these platforms that came in and went. Like people want that. Like everything we're doing, like on our end, like we're building on top of platforms that already exist. Like you could go on YouTube. Like I just saw the demo for our tech. Like you could literally be on YouTube and like your Chrome browser, the Chrome extension will like log that you're consuming my content on YouTube and get points for it. Like it's that simple. Like people want to be on the platforms. They want to listen to this and then earn something, whether it's from a, whether it's anything. Like you can. That's where the people want. They don't want to leave the platform itself. So you either build for that, or we're probably not going to be around that long unless you're like insanely funded. Because like even social, like I've been doing media my whole life, but like I thought about like, what if one day I create a platform and like I never was attracted to that as a founder, because like I'll need like $1 billion to do that. You know what I mean? Straight up. Like, and you guys know, like you're building shit like, like what you can build with $10-20 million in media versus what you could build with like what you have to like build and need like hundreds of millions of dollars to compete with Zuck. Like that's okay. Like I'll just keep building on top of what these people are doing. I think that's the easiest way to go about it.